Today, I would like to share with you a few slides that I presented earlier in a conference. I want to share my screen with you because you may not know exactly where I am on the slides. And then we'll go over some of the task stream and some artifacts. Okay. And some of you have to leave, I'm sure, in half an hour. So I'm trying to be as brief as possible. But my slides, there are too many of them. So you can have a chance to look at some of those slides that I passed through later. Okay, let's share the screen. Okay. Oops, it's nice and small. I embedded the slides into the link. I asked the question in the audience, first write it down in a piece of paper, what assessment is, and then they crumble the paper and throw it to the floor. The reason why I did this is because I've seen this activity allow people to be anonymous. Either you can collect a survey or anonymous papers. So in this case, everybody picked up one crumbled paper and read what the others wrote about what assessment is. To me, assessment is, what's going on? Oh, it's giving me the recording list. For me, assessment is celebrational learning. And in this presentation, I gave people a handout. If you can see this handout, it looks like some of the things are upside down, but if you fold it into two and cut it onto the straight lines in the middle, it makes a little mini book. I created this using one PowerPoint slides. So if you're interested, I can send you a template. And it really helps because instead of giving people pages and pages of handout, I gave them a QR code that they can go directly to the website that I share with you. And then I put a little bit more information about what assessment is. And one of the quotes that I really like, it says, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So assessment is one of those tricky things in education. And I know you had amazing responses in journals and links and resources that you shared before. So I was encouraged to share a few of my resources. Welcome to the session, I always say. And one of the things I found in the literature several years ago that shocked me, because nowadays assessment, just like how learning space is expanded, assessment is changing. It's becoming more creative. And some of you had a chance to mention Edpuzzle, for instance, how you watch a video clip and then pause the video clip for the students so they can answer a question prior to watching the rest of the clips. And it collects data, it analyzes, and it tells you that 80% of the students successfully answered the first part of the, let's say, watching the video, and then you focus on your lesson in the second part of the video because only 20% accuracy was collected. And as you can see, learning space is expanded, and one thing that surprised me the most is students no longer say, I learned amazing stuff in education, in classroom. They're learning more in the restrooms than classrooms. So it is somewhat discouraging, and you feel like, why am I in the classroom then? But again, our jobs is as visionary leaders to move and expand the walls of the classroom and expand our learning spaces. And as you can see, I try to post the collaborative learning to experiential learning to project-based learning. There are a lot of things changing in the education field. It's actually a repetition of so many things we have done, but the assessment parts. And teaching now becoming 24/7, 365. There are amazing MOOCs out there that expands our learning work. And heterogogy. Have you heard this term, anyone, for an extra point? Anybody would like to take the microphone? It's a term that I come across 3-4 years ago. it means learning for life. It's not just pedagogy for learning, teaching for young students. It's not andragogy for teaching over 18 plus years. Pedagogy is for everyone to learn anytime and in time learning using MOOCs or experiential learning, like your practicum experience, and at the same time researching. So it's a good term to know in our field. As you can look at this, level of commitment and assessment is also explained, because for teachers, we have low interest in institutional assessment, but administrators' interest is low in the course level. But as you can see, we all need to do assessment in various levels, from institutional to course levels. And here's an example I had done in the school. Of course, it's a picture of the whiteboard, and you don't see the little dots next to it. I gave little dots to people to stick it next to, and we decided what information literacy for us in the institution, and people using their color-coded dots identify what is important for them. So sometimes when we think about assessment, we think that it has to be nationalized, but sometimes it has to be specific to your own institution. So you need to make your own ways of defining what it is, and maybe with the group of committees, you can make activities to highlight what is important. And we also talked about, I see some of you mentioned the summative, the formative assessment, some mentioned peer assessment. As you can see, assessment has various forms, and from self-assessment to departmental and institutional assessment, it is critical in our field. And as Bloom taxonomy also had a chance to highlight it here in this nice graphic, every part of the assessment is critical, because you're not just assessing the final product, but you're also assessing the process, from remembering to applying to analyzing and evaluating, as well as the product, the final paper. All right, here's another cute graphic for us, and it puts different types of software that are used. Another point that I would like to make, assessment is also needs to be done in every part of the brain. It's called the UDL model, Universal Design for Learning. Just like when you're teaching, you need to focus on what of learning, what and how of learning, and why of learning. When you design a lesson, you can't just design a lesson teaches what of learning, because you need to address all the lobes of the brain, according to brain studies, brain research. And as you can see, teaching those also requires us to assessing those. And this chart shows that from knowledge-based assessment to knowing how, to showing how, as well as how the student will demonstrate what they do. As you can see in our programs, we first taught you courses in certain technologies, right? So now you're moved up to the does level of, because you're now in the practicum, you're as practitioners in the field serving your community. All right, this looks like another similar idea. These are some of the software that I shared on the slides that we used in that institution that I worked. And as you can see, I always like to put the earth always upside down, just to spice it up, because everything I do, I try to flip it, like flip learning. And these are some of the software that we used, and I'm sure most of those familiar with you. And I like, the other day, Shaylin sent me a Jing. She's like, I have a question, and then she's recorded her question. It was so impressive. So thank you, Shaylin, for teaching me how to ask questions. So that was awesome. As you can see, this little chart, why we assess and why we need to get accreditation. every institution needs to be accredited to make their students diploma accredited. If NYIT has no accreditation, that means nothing to, getting a certificate or getting a degree from NYIT means nothing. So it's a collaborative project. It's transparent. We need to be clear, communicating to all stakeholders. Sorry. It needs to be defensible data, meaning the data we collect on TaskStream needs to be clear and defensible, and it needs to be sustainable. It should be overall, and we should have a chance to look at the long-term data. Of course, we're using all these innovative tools, and we need to make it as cost-effective as possible. All right, so when I asked the people, remember those little crumbled things, I found that people have ranges of information, ranges of definitions. Assessment is for providing final grades, to assessment is required for accreditation, assessment is to improve student learning. So I'm assuming that's all true. We need assessment for everything. But I'd like to share this little cute chart. What is assessment? Assessment is to increase quality. Hey, hi.
Sorry, really late.
Welcome, join us. It's all recorded anyway, don't worry. I know you were on the traffic, so you made it. So as this chart shows, evaluation is more like judging the quality. So assessment that we are talking about, mostly assessment for learning as opposed to assessment of learning. And here a little Venn diagram to show. Assessment is ongoing, it's more formative. Evaluation is where the summative ends comes in. And here's a little concept map for assessment and why we separate the assessment as of learning and for of learning, because if teacher wants to know how they're doing in the classroom, it's an assessment that helps the teacher to identify where the learning difficulties are. So in that case, you're doing a formative assessment to find out not only where the students are, but also how your teaching is going. So it's diagnostic as opposed as during and after learning. And here another chart that I put together. These are some of the things you already know. I just wanted to share with you the presentation I had done. And it explains what assessment as learning is also clarified. And here are a few more charts for you to look at. And I also gave the people handouts to fill out, because sometimes when you're in groups discussing what assessment is, and assessment for what, and assessment, how we assess, it's important. Anybody used CourseSites? Or are you aware of CourseSites? It's a Blackboard pro bono. Blackboard we use is a paid product, and it includes a lot of whistles and buttons. But as educators, you will be able to use CourseSites.com. If you go get an account, you can create your own Blackboard account for free. It's for educational use version of the Blackboard. It's supported by Blackboard, and they encourage us to use it. We use the Blackboard to collect data in my previous institution, and I just wanted to share with you how we collected data also using SurveyMonkey and Qualtrics, and a few more slides to share. Nice and colorful, but at this point, let me just thank you for your patience listening to me and letting me share one of my passions in life. Assessment. I love to learn more about it, and I would like to be better at it. Just like in this class, I'm going to learn how to assess your work through TaskStream. So let's enjoy assessment, not to see it as a punishment or the final product. In this class, until the last day of class, we're going to be improving our skills and improving our artifacts. And to tell you the truth, I do not want you to create any new artifacts. I'm sure you had done plenty. I want you to look at your work and maybe edit or revise some of those artifacts that you created in your previous classes and upload and share. And thank you in every language around the world. And for this part, let me turn off the screen share. All right, any questions so far? Sorry that I kind of went through quickly. All right, there's a nice doggy sleeping right behind you, huh? Would you like to introduce yourself because you missed the introduction session?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Katie Pulaski. What am I supposed to say?
One question, maybe just the introduction, who you are.
I teach health class, middle school. This is my daughter, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
This is my little baby girl. Yeah, that's really it. Sorry I was late. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, you have a question that we can
well, should I like re-ask a question that I asked yesterday?
Did you had an answer yesterday, or you're still questioning?
No, I don't. Well, I don't really have any questions at this time.
Okay, because yesterday we recorded your answer. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. Let's try to answer some of those artifact questions. Anybody have a specific question about an artifact that you're not so sure if it's proper to post? For instance, let's say you have a journal that you wrote, or a paper you wrote, or a slide presentations you have done. So there are two ways, I guess, you can approach this. One is that you don't know what to do with an artifact, and you're still questioning. You can always ask me, and we'll try to find a way to see if that artifact fits into under that standard. And sometimes when I'm looking at your work, I may see, and I may advise you, I may say, look, this artifact really fits also under, let's say, artifact standard 5, which is coming later. And some of you started posting all your artifacts, so I appreciate doing that hard work and in advance. And some of you are still struggling to figure out what artifacts goes into where, so we can have a specific session one-on-one try to answer. But I know Shaylin specifically put her video up, and she wanted to know exactly where things are. And she also said, what does that mean? Like there are some descriptions, right? And those descriptions are cookie cutter descriptions of what that specific artifact should be about. But again, since I haven't posted any of those, I didn't write it any of those. I am just like you, trying to figure out what those little descriptions mean. And if it doesn't make sense to you, and if it doesn't make sense to me, we can always ask the people who wrote that little description. So I'm more than happy to get your emails and forward it to them specifically. So if you have anything specific that you don't understand or it's not clear, put it in email, and I'll forward it to system administration. And I also will take a look at the standards that double posted, or standards may not fit into the link. So I'm just going to double check on those. And again, I mentioned earlier, Katie, that due dates are for not deadlines. It's not going to lower your point if you don't post it on time. Because of any reasons, you can always let me know, and so I don't have to worry from my end. All right. I guess
I do. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
When we're collecting artifacts, and we're eventually going to organize them in some format, would it be best to like organize them now and like put them into some sort of presentation, or should we hold off until the end? And do you have a recommendation for like a portfolio, I don't know, site or anything?
It's an excellent question. Yeah, I planted you for that question. I really would like to have an alternative portfolio for you to present. It's not mandatory, but since testing, I found out that it's a paid subscription for you. It's going to
Right.
expire on you, right? We're going to keep your data, but your data will stay there, and you can't access it if you don't pay for it. So I think it's not fair to lose all these beautiful works. So I want you to replicate this in another platform, in a free platform, and use that platform to present, because I would like to also be part of that meaning making with you. If I can give you some feedback on the portfolio, because some of you might be searching for new opportunities upon graduation, and
Right.
that portfolio could be a good conduit for you to share with the new graduate. It could be, so because it has its own limitations. You're more than welcome to present in another platform. You are not required. If you do it, I'll be more than happy.
Ready for a new chapter?
Maybe updating your resume, some of you might be working on your cover letters. Please feel free to reply me. I have so many resumes, so many cover letters.
I can't hear anything. I'm not sure if anybody else can't hear anything, but I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
Hi, I'm sorry. I've been here, but I'm not hearing anything. Is there something maybe on my end? I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I can't hear either.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one.
So you can't hear I'm as loud as I could be, and my
You might be.
No, the audio was good, and it went out for some reason. It went very, very low.
oh, okay.
It was I was hearing you, and then it just went very, very low all of a sudden. I'm sorry.
Let me close some of the windows on my computer. Hopefully, I'll get better bandwidth shortly. My internet connection sometimes slows down. All right, I'm trying to close as much as possible. See if that helps. All right. The good news about Zoom, it doesn't require too much bandwidth, but at the same time, if you have a bad internet connection, time to time it goes, it's not good. All right. By the way, hi April. Okay. I tried to close as much as I could. How is this sound right now? No, I lost you all. I can't hear you now. I can't hear anybody.
I can hear you.
Okay. So let's do a little polling to see if how many will you be able to hear on the chat. Okay. Can you mute your volume, please? Okay. Yeah, check the mute settings. Okay. It's still low. It's still very low. Okay. I wish I have an answer. Maybe we need to revisit this Zoom sessions. Maybe Skype will be better for next time. But I apologize for the quality. And let me maybe stop the recording and then restart it if you don't mind. I don't know if the sound will come back on the second session.